Alright, so welcome to the world of sharks. Alright, so this session is about analysis of malware. So we have started our malware analysis lessons. So now we know a bit about malware and how dangerous they are, and we have to keep everything protected. So um, so as we had the introduction to malware, so now we need to understand how can I protect ourselves from malware, right? So it can be your own computer which you need to protect, guys. So you can do a bit of packet capturing and analysis, all right? Or it can be the network that you guys are in. So that can be your corporate network. So you have a firewall, a router. So a lot of packets coming in and out. So there are of course a lot of tools like operation centers, a lot of monitoring tools, network monitoring, security onion, ADM vault, so a lot of things. But at the same time, for network engineers perspective, not a security engineers perspective, from network engineers perspective, it's good to do DPI, deep packet inspection. And even for security engineers, it can be vital to understand what are the packets coming in and going out from the system. So there's so much to learn here. So of course there are so many different types of tools available. Uh, so one of the common tools that you have seen probably would be TCP Dump. So I think you all have learned with TCP Dump. So TCP Dump is one of those cool tools. Right, so TCP Dump, give the man page. Okay. Okay, you have all these things which explain basically how to packet capture, and so you can see print each packet in ASCII, print the race number, so there are a lot of things, and also you can give a buffer, file size, blah blah blah, so you can dump it. So yeah, so it's kind of cool. Alright, so now we have no TCP dump. So if we do the basics of TCP dump, if you want to see what are the interfaces which are running. So as you can see here, you have these interfaces. Most of them up and running. So I would like to capture from my this interface EN0 is the one which is connected to Wi-Fi. So what I'm going to do is basically use TCP dump and let's say -I and then give EN0. So as you can see, guys, you can see a lot of messages popping up, UDP, and what else? Yeah, so there are a lot of messages coming up. So it's very hard to analyze any of this here in this way. This one way you need things something like Wireshark. Of course, then I can stop this. Oops. So I have stopped it, and you can see a lot of messages popped up, and you can see, so there's messages coming, IP and port numbers are present, and some of the flags define sequence numbers, acknowledge. So this is most things that you have learned in your networking. Yeah, so there's so much of things here, right? So that's basically how to run TCP dump. And also there are a few other cool commands if you want to do as an example, if you want to dump only a few number of packets, you can go ahead with -C 10 and EN0. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so I have to use sudo. need to provide the I here. So now it captures only 10 packets. So that also is another good option, cool option. Yeah, so there are so many other commands which I'm not going to run anyway, but this is some tool that you can use, right? Yeah, so but we are going to use Wireshark, which is more convenient and more user friendly. So let me load up Wireshark. So it's a very simple installation. You all can install it. It runs on Windows, Linux, whatever is available, even Mac. So I'm running it on Mac. So Mac installation is a bit different, but the rest would be quite same. So, so again, once you start Wireshark, of course, if you have any other files which you worked earlier, you'll be able to see them. And this is where you start capturing your content, because capturing is everything. So you have a few options here. Of course, you can see a set of network interfaces. So the ones which I'm having activity is my Wi-Fi. So I'm using my Wi-Fi. And there are other custom interfaces also which you can use. I'm not really worried about them, so I can use one of them. Right, so then of course here you find all these icons which you can use later on. So initially you can start with going to the capture menu. So there are a few menus: file, edit, weave, and capture, analyze, statistics, telephony, wireless, tools, and like that. So we go to capture menu and say start. So I have already specified my interface, so which is the EN0, which is the wireless interface. Now you can see it's capturing all these things. Some things are colored, so later on we'll understand why is it. And here you can see the protocol details. So once you had captured enough data, you can of course stop this because it consumes us processing power, memory, and other things. Yeah, so I have captured and a lot of data. So as you can see, when you think of your computer given few seconds, I probably ran it for few seconds. So you can see if you go to statistics and capture file properties, right? So you can see how many packets I captured. Only for 20 seconds, right? So my hard drive is provided. So I'm using Mac OS 10. So basically I'm using Wireshark dump cap. This is because I'm using the Mac flavor. If you are using Windows, you guys have to use WinPcap. Linux, it's libpcap. So that's basically how it goes, right? Yep. So, and also no drop packets, and displayed 845. So again, there are drop packets. Again, you have to consider that can be showing some analysis on some troubleshooting aspects about your network card as well. And this is Ethernet base, and it hashes everything, which is good. Yeah. So, and also you can put some comments. This is my first capture, right? And you can save comment. You can save this project as well later on if you want to use it. So you can save it. I'm not going to save it anyway, right? And then of course whatever you see here, you guys can basically do some analysis, and once you're done with it, you can export it, you can print it. There are so much of cool things about this. So there are so many different ways of exporting, and remember, when you're exporting, the common format we use is called the PCAP files. These are called PCAP files. Or there are other things which you can use. There are so many different types: sniffer type, Microsoft Netmon type. Yeah, so there are so many other types which you can use, and also you can capture all the packets, or you can give a range. So there are so many cool things here. All right, that's the first thing, and then as you can see, packets are sequentially ordered from this one, and the last one is 800 some number. All right, so I have captured only for 20 seconds, guys, right? 20 seconds. Okay, that's fine. And then once you look at this particular view, this is called the packet list view, which you can remove it or you can have it. right? And the second view is called the packet details view. So this is where you learn networking, right? You can learn the full ISO-SI layer and a lot more than that, right? So you can see the frame, that the bottom layer, then the Ethernet, and then the IP layer and the transport layer. And if you need any other application stuff, that will also be available here. And apart from that, if you want, you can get the packet bytes view as well. But normally for this analysis, at least initial stage, you won't be needing this bytes. Unless otherwise you're going to do exploitation, reverse engineering and stuff like that, you might need that. So you don't need that, so you can just remove it for the moment because you need more, whatever the real estate which is provided from your monitor. So that can be important, so not really to worry too much about it, guys. Okay, so that's fine. And then what we are supposed to do, let me take my notebook. Right, that's my notebook. Okay, so all right, so fine. Okay, so now what we try to do is we'll try to see what are those things in the motion. Yeah, so packet list. If you look at the packet list, you'll find the time it was captured, the source address, destination IP address. So destination is, I believe, this machine. No, not this machine, but another machine that I'm having in the network. And then here, this is important, the protocol. So as you guys can see, there are multiple types of protocols here. TCP, the common one, and probably you can see the UDP also down somewhere. And also you can see TLS, transport layer security. And what else? You can probably see UDP and DNS stuff. DNS is quite useful. And also, yeah. So, but now see, this is the thing. So if you want to get more of a good analysis of that, go to statistics, which is one of the top things in Wireshark, right? So go to protocol hierarchy, which gives you a very interesting output. So here, as you can see, you can find what are the protocols which use. So now this is where the malware engineer's work starts. So as you can see, you can do the analysis. You can see 100% of the packets of this type, Ethernet type. So yeah, nothing much to worry about this. Okay, and then you can see IP version 4 is 99% used. So of course we don't use much of IPv6 yet. But if you are doing this in a networking, like a corporate environment, you might see in between routers. So, and remember when you want to do this capturing, right? So you might need to use some techniques. So as an example, there are cases where you might have to kind of go to a switch and you have to mux it, or basically take copies of it or mirror it, and then you can put your Wireshark and analyze it. So likewise, you might have to do techniques to capture the important data. So not that always you'll be able to capture things by going with the usual network ports, right? So it doesn't work that way. So you might have to use a bit of a different concepts if you want to access different types of data. Right, so that's all right. And let's go back. And also you can see DNS, you have a lot more. Yeah, traffic, of course. Then the most widely used traffic type is TCP. And TLS is also used a lot. So there are 27 packets, percentage of packets, and packets at 1 3, and yeah, lot of packets there also. And ARP is there, so ARP is used to basically do resolutions of MAC addresses to IP address, which are common things. And of course DNS is used when you go for a web address. Okay, so to convert it to the IP. So that's basically, and so these all comes under UDP. So see, you can learn a lot of things, right? And you send some data as well, especially for DNS data, you have to send those, and maybe DHCP, you have them, use them, and simple service discovery. So likewise, there are a lot of things that you can do. And of course, all the time, remember, you can add filters. So we'll talk about filters in a while. So there are different types of filters. You can prepare a filter or you can apply a filter. So when you say prepare a filter, it will be there. Sometimes apply is you try to apply it for the current data set. All right, so that's basically about protocols. And also on statistics, you can look at the endpoints. So this is also a kind of a very useful analysis. So when you look at initially, you can see the Ethernet related endpoints. So the addresses are given in the order. And then if you look at the name resolution, you can see the IPv4, Apple, and other types. And of course, you can sort these things, right, and check which are coming from what is the most type of use type of traffic. And IPv4 again, so you can see who is the one who is sending a lot of traffic. So let me check the number of bytes. Okay, this guy, okay, this is not my machine, I believe. Yep, so I do sbin config. Yeah, that's my machine, so obviously that generates so much of traffic. And then you have this IP address, so which is the one which provides the other set of traffic. So of course you can do a DNS lookup and see what is this IP address and all that, or US DNS lookup for that matter. So that will give you a lot of other details. So if there is sudden issues in the machine, you can just look at this data by capturing and see like if there are a lot of traffic generated from one node or very abnormal traffic generated. That's also you can find out. Now see, there's no IPv6 traffic here, so nothing is generated in my network. So if I want, I can craft a packet and send it, and can be captured here. And that is about endpoints. And then you can look at the conversations. That's basically sockets, right? So what you do in a netstat, so the same thing is here. Again, you can go to IPv6 and bytes. You can order it, right? And you can see a lot happens with 103, 43, 90, and 53. So you can even do some analysis about this IP address and check whether is there any problem with this IP. So if you want to do that, there is a site called abuse IP that IPDB. Yep. So if you go here, you can give the IP address here. Let me check the IP, guys. 103, but I do think this is a legitimate IP. 43. It's the dash 43, 90, or 53. So this would give a bit of indication whether this IP is abused IP. So this was not found in their database, so yeah, it's not a big deal, right? Yep. So I can just go to the site and see whether what is the site. Okay. Oops. So maybe there's no direct name, so maybe it's on a different name tree. It's okay. So this was anyway, it's not a malicious IP address. All right. Okay, that's about conversations. Of course, then the number of bytes passed, number of communications. So with this, there were 2, but these are different addresses. No? Yeah, and so there can be repeating ones as well. Yeah, so that's basically the conversation. And also remember, these are the common ones, but you can see if you're in IoT network and all that, you can have like ZigBee, USB, all these things can be captured. So there's no limitation for Wireshark to capture anything, guys. So if you do look at Android-based malware or like different types of malware, you'll be able to look at it in this the same way. So yeah, so even though we don't cover those things here, but always it's cool to look at those things, right? Let me get this side. Okay. So the shark is up, right? So now we have learned that, and then guys, what I can show you under statistics is the IO graph. So this is also a cool one. So you can see the packets with the time, how it's moved. So you can see like the graphs, graphics, everything, which is really, really cool. So we'll get some use out of it later on when we need some other activity done, especially malware analysis paths. So we can get some idea about, so is there any anomaly here and things like that. So, but remember here is only 20 seconds, right? So I might need that more data to, and also you can get the time of the day, log scale, so all these things. So it's a pretty neat tool. Being open source tool, I do really value this tool a lot. All right, so that's done. And then, of course, the real power of Wireshark comes with its filtering tools. So, okay, yeah. So it's filtering tool. So this is where you can apply a filter. These are called display filters, right? So you can come here by command and yeah, and then you can type in as an example TCP. So once the filter is on, so you can see always it becomes green color. But if you do something like this TCP, no, you can't do in caps here. So you have to type it in simple. So when I say TCP and when I press enter, so normally I would be able to filter out all the TCP traffic, right? All right. So and also, so this is basic. And if you want to do HTTP, so you can filter that out. So these are called display filters, right? So there's no HTTP traffic. TCP traffic, and if you want, you can create a filter from here. Let me check. So there are these common filters. So IPv6, IP if you only IP. So those are some of those common filters, right? I don't need this. So you can get those common filters from here. Or else, yeah, you can get some from here as well. So these are actually these are my old filters which I used. Yep. Okay, that's basically how to add filters. So we have to do a lot of interesting things by using filters, which you are going to learn in a while with some experiments. All right. And one other cool way of adding filters would be, as an example, if I go to one of this traffic and select it, and if you go down here for details, and if you can select any of those, now this is transport layer security, so it's under TLS, and then if I go here, so if I select the application data protocol HTTP TLS, I can right click on that and I can say apply as a filter. uh, so apply as a filter, I can probably go here, right? And you can say not selected. So then it will apply here. So then I can see only things which are not related to that. So likewise, I can do customized filters, right? And also you can get, there's a database of filters that you can use here. You can say display filter expressions. So it will take a bit of a time to load it. Yeah, so now once you go here, you can see there's a lot of things which you can use. There are so many different protocols, right? So Bitcoin, right? So and many other. So there's thousands of them there. So if you go to like something familiar like TCP, so under that you have again so many different types of filtering mechanisms. So we can get something like TCP. Okay, there's a lot here. Okay, we can say TCP window size value is less than, I don't know, 5, yeah, something like that. Okay, when you say okay, can apply that, right? And then you can get only 1, 2, 3, 4, a few, no? So that's right. That's really cool. So that's for some reason. So these values are less than 5, right? So the window size value. So this is quite powerful, right? Method of doing things. All right. So so what you are supposed to do is you have to start building this experience of working with working with different filters, which can be quite useful. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one other thing. When you start capturing, right, so now say this is continue without saving. There are some options. So sorry, I'll stop this again. File. So where the capture options, capture with the filter, right? So you can capture with the filter. So you can apply a filter here and you can capture it. So that will give you a kind of narrowed down data set when you're capturing things. And also similar, you can of course select your interface and then you can define a capture filter here as well. Right, so that would definitely narrow down your results, right? So yes, and yeah, so that's basically some other thing that you guys have to know. Right, now I'll do a small experiment. So to understand this experiment, so let me take a file. uh, I think I already have it open. So fast flux, yes. So now which I'm going to explain is something called fast flux, right? So the idea of fast flux is, so we are going to discuss about fast flux. So before that, let me show something cool. Okay, so what I do is I'm going to stop this session here and going to second one we are going to work with fast flux and the other interesting cool things. So we'll stop the session. So we'll have like 30-minute sessions on